I have Luke 6, which is 49 verses, and it's packed full of things that you hear a lot whenever people are talking about Jesus and what he says during his 3 years of teaching. I'm going to try my best to break it down and keep this short. The first thing that stuck out to me whenever I was reading Luke 6 was the Beatitudes. Blessed are you who are poor, because the kingdom of God is yours. Blessed are you who are hungry now, because you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, because you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you, insult you, and slander your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy. Take note. Your reward is great in heaven, for this is the way their ancestors used to treat the prophets. There's so many ways you could break this down, but the thing that really stuck out to me was whenever it says that people hate you and insult you and slander your name as evil because of the Son of Man. It reminds me of the verse that says, if the world hates you, remember it hated me first. And that was Jesus talking. So if the world hates you because you love Jesus or because you're spreading the gospel, that means you're doing the right thing. And then the next thing that stuck out to me was Jesus saying, love your enemies. He says, but I say to you who listen, love your enemies, do what is good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. And then it goes on to say, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. If you do what is good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to be repaid in full. But love your enemies, do what is good, and lend, expecting nothing in return. And then it says, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. There are 2 more things I want to talk about. The next one is whenever Jesus says, why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but don't notice the beam of wood in your own eye? This is Jesus saying that if you point out your brother's sins before you look at your own sins, it's like being a hypocrite. And then he goes on to say, first take the beam of wood out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to take out the splinter in your brother's eye. So once you check your own sin and see how you're doing, it'll help you see clearer so that you can help your brother who is also sinning. The last thing I want to talk about is the 2 foundations. Jesus says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and don't do the things I say? I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my words, and acts on them. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. When the flood came, the river crashed against that house and couldn't shake it because it was well built. But the one who hears and does not act is like a man who builds a house on the ground without a foundation. The river crashes against it and immediately it collapsed, and the destruction of that house was great. So this is saying whoever hears the word but doesn't act on it or do anything about it is like someone who builds their house without a foundation. There's nothing stable in that person's life. And then the person who hears the word and acts on it and acts like Jesus is like someone who builds their house on a rock or a solid foundation. They have a good, stable thing that they can go back to, which is the word.